Hi there, and welcome to the Board Wrap-Up Show. We appreciate you watching. This is the monthly visit with Superintendent of Ponca City Public Schools, Shelley Arrott, and I'm Sean Anderson, your host. And today, on the February Board Wrap-Up Show, we're going to start right off. We have a long list of things to talk about that happened during the meeting, and this is an opportunity for you to be informed about exactly what was discussed and what happened. The Board of Education Awards, starting each monthly board meeting with these awards, is a fantastic way to start a meeting, isn't it?
That's right, Sean. As you know, our board gives awards to outstanding employees and friends of education because without them, we couldn't make it around here. So it's always good to recognize your people. Our certified Board of Education Award winner this month was Wendy Landez, and she's our PE teacher at Trout Elementary. Our support employee of the month was Donnie Edwardson. He is our custodian over at East. And then our friend of education, and that's someone who's not employed with us, was Little Caesars Pizza because they support Wildcat Academy and Teen Pep with different little initiatives.
Yeah, all right. Well, one of the things discussed and a disappointment to many, Step Up Oklahoma, and that did not go well at the Capitol. And talk to us about that. What was the conversation?
It was discussed, and it was a huge disappointment for education and other core agencies. And as you know, the Step Up Oklahoma plan was actually developed by Oklahoma citizens and organization from adverse groups, and they came up with a plan when our legislators have failed to do so over a regular session and then two special sessions. And they presented the plan, and our legislators stepped up and listened to the plan. And basically, there were 10 bills in the Step Up Oklahoma plan, but the bills that we discussed were House Bill 1030 XX and House Bill 1033 XX. And the XX simply means it was a bill presented in the second special session. And as you know, core agencies are just at their breaking point in Oklahoma because of lack of funding and cuts, and education being one of those. House Bill 1030 XX actually would give a $5,000 raise to teachers across the board. And then House Bill 1033 XX was the bill that approved the revenue to pay for that raise. And as you know, and as our viewers likely know, that it takes a supermajority vote for any tax raising or revenue raising measure. So we needed 76 votes in the House for the revenue raising portion to be passed. And in that revenue raising portion, it was an increase to gross production tax, fuel tax, cigarette tax, smokeless tobacco, little cigar tax, and some other taxes. And at 6 o'clock when the board meeting started, I think the vote was 62 to 34, so we were 14 votes shy of that supermajority vote that was required in the House for the revenue raising measure to pass. The Speaker left the vote open until midnight. At about 6 o'clock, decided that the vote would stay open till midnight, and only one vote was turned by 11 o'clock p.m. So about 11:05, they called the vote, and it did not pass. And it's a huge hit to education, mental health, DHS, the Department of Health, which are our wraparound services. They support us in education, and what it's going to do to Oklahoma and to Ponca City Public Schools, it is definitely going to increase our teacher shortage problem. That teacher shortage is real. And the state granted about over 1,800 emergency certificates for people without an education degree to be teaching in a school district in Oklahoma. Currently, we have 14 teachers on an emergency certificate, and thankfully for us, these were people we trained. They may have been our support professional that worked for us who had a degree in business or something like that.
Right.
And then we are working to train them as educators. So our instructional leaders have had to step up their game, and we've had to provide more professional development opportunities for those teachers who aren't trained as a teacher. But it's a sad day for us. And in fact, on Monday night, we heard some of our own teachers, our single teachers who don't have roots here that can leave, say that they may consider going to Texas where the pay is higher. And we can't afford that loss, because the teacher is unequivocally the greatest indicator of student success.
Yeah. So is Step Up Oklahoma dead? I mean, where do we go from here?
Well, our lawmakers who did not vote think that there's a better plan, and they are going to try to come up with a better plan. But again, that hasn't been done.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. We got notification today that because of the deficit that won't be filled since Step Up Oklahoma was not passed, that we'll be taking cuts across the board. And we don't know what those are. We just got information on that this morning.
Okay. Well, on a brighter note, there was the Lincoln Orff Ensemble that performed
That's right.
at the board meeting.
That's what we're all about. We're all
Right.
about those students, and we try to showcase our students at every board meeting. Number one, it gives them the opportunity to speak publicly, and it gives our board the opportunity to know about what our students are doing. And we had an ensemble, an Orff ensemble, from Lincoln Elementary, who was conducted by our music teacher over there, Miss Amy Maggie, does a great job. And an Orff ensemble actually incorporates singing, movement, and playing instruments into their performance. So it was a delightful performance, and the Lincoln kids did a great job. We had about 20 Lincoln students here for the board meeting.
Oh, that's fantastic. Together We're Strong. Can you tell us about this?
Yes, this is a plan that OEA has put together out on their own, since our legislators have failed to come up with a plan. And this is through the Oklahoma Education Association. And our local Association of Classroom Teachers president, Zach Murray, gave a little presentation on OEA's plan called Together We're Stronger. And it's a 3-year plan. And actually, it was kind of a piggyback off the Step Up Oklahoma, but their plan calls for a $10,000 raise for Oklahoma teachers over a period of 3 years. It also calls for a $5,000 raise for our educational support employees. And we couldn't make it without them. They need a raise too. It also calls for a cost of living increase for our retired teachers. And it is a 3-year plan, different revenue raising measures, but we don't know where that's going since the Step Up Oklahoma plan did not pass. So.
Right. Building assessment reviews, routine happening, board meetings, and how often do the building assessment reviews happen?
Well, once a year, each site administrator presents their data to the board. We analyze our data regularly from our assessments, our formative assessments that are ongoing, and our state assessments that are summative, that are given at the end of the year, because that's how we plan for instruction. We need to know what areas that our students are struggling or need more support, and then what areas to enrich our students in. And what we do is we have the site administrator come out and give their current reality. How are their students performing? And then they talk about the steps of how to meet our goal of raising our Oklahoma testing program scores by 10% every year. And it makes it real personal. And that way each board member and the public can see what each specific site is focusing upon.
Very good. The consent agenda and financial reports, that was a part, of course, of the February board meeting, and the April Board of Education date change was discussed as well.
Yes, we have a conflict with our April board meeting. Typically, that board meeting is on the second Monday of the month. We did need to move it to the third Monday of the month, and it's going to be on Monday, April 16th
All
for
right.
April.
Very good. The 2018-2019 school year calendar. It's not too early, and of course,
It is
planning
not.
ahead is part of this. And so this was an unveiling of the school calendar for next
Well,
year.
our committee actually, we put together a committee of parents, teachers, administrators to work on the calendar. And we have some parameters for our calendar, the contract days, the number of school days that our students are required to attend, different holidays that we have to encompass. And sometimes there's not a lot of wiggle room because we typically like to start somewhere in August, and we like to be out before Memorial Day in May. So there's oftentimes not a lot of options, but we still bring a calendar committee together and plan that based on the parameters. But the school board has to approve that. So we always recommend a calendar from our calendar committee meetings in January, and then the board is asked to consider that calendar in February, and they did approve the 18-19 school year, and something that is always of interest to everyone is the first day of school, and the first day of school is going to be on a Thursday this year, August 16th. And we try to avoid starting on a Monday or Tuesday. Sometimes we can't just because of the way the calendar falls,
Right.
but it gives people stamina after being off during the summer, which they're not technically off, they're working, but our students are off. Ease into that first week,
Sure.
especially for our
Yeah.
first-time students, our pre-Kers who have never been to school. That's tough on them.
Right,
So
right.
we just kind of ease into that school year.
Get a couple of days in and have a weekend.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely. Well, reading is something that Ponca City Public Schools has given exceptional focus. Of course, one book, one district has been an ongoing thing twice a year, and looking forward to that coming again, of course. And March 2nd, a very important day, Read Across America Day. How is Ponca City Public Schools getting ready for this big day?
Well, that's Dr. Seuss's birthday, and it's a tradition here that we do have Read Across America Day, and a lot of schools do this. And we plan different activities and have guest readers come in and read Dr. Seuss books. The board just resolves that that day is going to be Read Across America Day, and we get our local business people in and parents and teachers from different sites just to go in and read to the kids. It's always a fun day, and they do activities or may have some kind of treat that correlates with Dr. Seuss's birthday. Fun day.
Very good. District purchase of property. What can you tell us about this?
Our board voted to purchase a piece of property that is at 1201 West Grand, and if you'll remember, it's that piece of land and building where the unemployment office used to be.
Okay, yeah.
It's vacant now. We own the land all around it, and the owner of that property was willing to sell it to us. And if we ever need that land to build on, it makes sense that we own it because we don't want to be landlocked by a piece of property that we don't own when we own all the land around it. So
Yeah.
we are purchasing that piece of property.
Very good. Any other information from the board meeting?
Well, this is just other information that didn't happen at the board meeting that I'd like our public to know about and for you to know about it.
Sure.
You mentioned one book, one district.
Yes.
It starts February 22nd this month, and it is The Indian in the Cupboard. And Team Radio does a great job of promoting that initiative, and
Oh,
we
that's
know that our community gets behind that. So we'll be talking about that at the Wildcat Chat, I'm sure, coming up. So.
All right, that'll be great. Well, that is going to do it for this edition of the Board Wrap-Up Show for February. And Shelley Arrott, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For Superintendent of Public Schools, Shelley Arrott, and everyone with Ponca City Public Schools, we appreciate you watching. Thank you, and we'll see you again right here on the Board Wrap-Up Show.